65% of grade school children will have jobs that don't exist today. That's from experts citing government reports. Let me say that again. 2/3 of our children will have jobs that we don't even have a vocabulary to describe today. Well, at first, that's scary, but remember, job types have been changing since the beginning of time. 100 years ago, there was a town crier. 25 years ago, there was such a thing as a professional typist, right? Not too long ago, actually, there was a video store clerk who charged me $1 every time I forgot to rewind my VHS tape, right? And these titles have been replaced with titles such as data scientist and Ruby on Rails engineer, and even my title, Chief Innovation Officer. In my job, it's my responsibility to study these sorts of forecasts. And my research indicates that the forecast is valid. It's actually true. And it's true for one reason, and one reason primarily, and that is that we're increasingly becoming a world where knowledge is obsolete, where knowledge is commoditized. Now, I'm not saying knowledge is bad. I'm not saying forget everything you've learned. All I'm saying is perhaps, just maybe, we should consider the fact that the value of knowledge is dropping and dropping and dropping for 3 reasons, really. One is knowledge is changing faster than ever before, right? There's an expiration date on your carton of knowledge. 2, actually, for those of you who are freshmen out here, half of what you learn as incoming freshmen will become irrelevant by the time you're a senior. 2, knowledge is growing. In 1900, knowledge was doubling every 100 years. In 1950, it was doubling every 25 years. Currently, it's expected that knowledge, our human knowledge, is doubling every 1 to 2 years. 3, and my favorite, is access. Thanks to your smartphone and your internet, you and everybody else has access to human knowledge anywhere, anytime. And that's great, because you may not have to learn the order of the planets the same way that those of us who were born in the 70s did. As I recall, I had to learn, it was a memorization technique. It goes, my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas. That's how I learned the order of the planets. You just have to type in your Wikipedia. Now, there's 2 problems with what I learned. One is, what kind of educated mother gives their kid 9 pizzas? And 2, really, pizzas, that's not even a planet anymore, right? But Wikipedia, that's updated, the internet is updated, so you're okay. But everybody has that knowledge now because it's at their fingertips. So if everybody has it, isn't it then commoditized, right? If knowledge is growing faster than ever, it's expiring faster than ever, and it's more accessible than ever, then what do we teach our children? That's the big question, is if you don't have to learn the value of pi the way I did, 6 digits, 3.14159, then you have it at your fingertips, then what do we teach if knowledge is going to be that much different? The answer is we teach creativity. We teach you how to be knowledge agnostic. We teach our children how to access knowledge, how to assess knowledge, and how to apply knowledge, so that no matter what the knowledge is that I give you, you can learn to apply it. You can learn to use it. No matter what new information and new data I throw a student's way, they'll figure out how to use it. When my wife asked me what I was going to be speaking out today, I told her I was going to be speaking about how knowledge is obsolete, and she said, I guess it's true because you used to know how to wash those dishes. And I said, babe, that's not the case. It's not that. The how is actually what we need to teach our kids, really. The how is what's important, not the what, right? I mean, and then I told her about access, assess, and apply, and the 65% and everything. And she said, in the time it took you to tell me that, you could have washed the dishes. But I didn't. I didn't wash the dishes. I'm not going to change. Change is hard. But drastic change, that's what we need. Drastic change is what we need in the education market and education technology. Drastic change, a quantum leap, is what we need. Not investment and reform from the government, because it's just going to take too long. Knowledge is changing today, and we need an answer today. We need the kind of answer, the kind of quantum leap that Steve Jobs gave us in communication, that Larry Page and Sergey Brin gave us in information, that Zuckerberg gave us with relationships. We need what they did, which is to create solutions that met the needs of the end user. And we can do that. We can give them that today, because those quantum leaps, those technologies, those solutions already exist, and that's exciting. There are things happening today that meet the needs for directly the students with these solutions, and those solutions, I'll give you 3 examples today, and it's very exciting. One is adaptive learning. Adaptive learning is the idea that you can personalize education. If I'm not good at fractions, but I'm good at decimals, don't teach me fractions, teach me decimals. If I'm good at learning through video and not through text, teach me through video. These platforms exist today. They learn from you and then feed you that information as you need it. 2, interactive textbooks. And what we're doing in interactive textbooks is incredible, and it's happening today. We're putting the E back in book. We're making it so that you're not just a passive reader, but instead you're learning through activity rather than just passively reading. And this is happening. This is a class in just force and motion, where a student can play and figure out and understand force and motion within the textbook itself. 3 is technology that's just coming about today, and it's called augmented reality. And the idea is you put on these glasses here, and right now I can see everything that's happening in real time, but there's content, relevant content, overlaid. That's giving me more information about what I'm seeing because it can see it with the video cameras, right? And there's a local company that's actually working on this today so that engineers can see what cable goes where, right? So that a student in chemistry can see what a particular atom in a molecule is. Actually, this technology is so smart, it's creating 7-year-old chemists. So there is phenomenal stuff happening in our industry, and there's reason to be hopeful, even though knowledge is being commoditized. I believe that if we trust in our innovators, we trust in our students to decide what works for them, then we will be teaching the application of knowledge rather than knowledge itself. And that's really good because we're going to teach our kids to deduce rather than to memorize, to experiment and experience rather than listen and take notes, to leverage technology rather than banning the internet from our classroom, and most importantly, to learn from our mistakes rather than punish failure. And I'm hopeful for the future because of these quantum leaps, because of these technologies, and because our kids are smarter than ever. And I'm particularly, my hopefulness can be epitomized with this picture of my son. And what he's doing, he wasn't even 2 when he looked at my quote-unquote smart TV, went up to touch it and said, "Dada, it's broken. Fix it, Dada, it's broken." And I said, "Take your fingers off of my TV." And he's got peanut butter on him and it's just a mess. But actually, he's right. It is broken, right? So if a 1-year-old has the foresight to see that this is broken and is creating new knowledge already and new possibilities, if we teach them how to actually apply that knowledge, if we teach them how to figure things out no matter what new technologies or what new knowledge becomes available, I'm very hopeful for the future. So when I hear that quote again, that forecast, 65% of our school children will have jobs that don't exist today, I'm now taking more positive. Like, it's amazing. It's great because it means that we're gonna have a quantum leap in education finally. And we're gonna have changes that will result in the most creative and the most productive generation of our day. Thank you.